Hello, and welcome back to Wildsunne Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne, as you know. Please like, comment, which I love, subscribe, and share with anybody else you think might enjoy this. So today we are talking about map books. I made a map book in the giveaway before, and I know that we all use Google Maps and such now, but it used to be that we had to look at a piece of paper and discern our whereabouts and make choices about our goals in life. So do you remember the paper maps we had way back when? And they were folded in these like complicated accordion, oh my goodness, folds. This isn't actually one of those maps. This is just a piece of paper from a map book. Iceland and Norway and Sweden and Denmark, Lithuania and Latvia and Estonia and Finland. And we have a little teeny piece of Germany. So yeah, they used to be folded in these real maps, road maps, you know, from East Coast to West Coast, whatever. And they would, you know, they were folded in a complicated way, but they folded up into a nice, neat little package. And my hands just enjoy, I don't know, things made out of paper, things that feel good in my hands, things that have pretty colors on them. So I thought I'd show you where my imagination has wandered off to this week. The first map book that I want to show you is a really easy book. The cover is made out of a piece of cardstock, craft colored cardstock, that's just folded in half. And the insides are made out of a piece of notebook paper. One of the things you can use a map book for, of course, which makes it great to put in a little journal, but it also makes it a fun little gift you could give to somebody, is you could write your journaling messages. What I did today, what I thought about, my philosophy of life, what the angels told me today, what I bought at the grocery store, my plans for next week, my plans for 5 years from now. Yeah, you can journal about whatever it is that you like to journal about. And here's a place to do it, and you can fold it up. There's an element of privacy in doing this. Oh, and I also wanted to tell you that the place where I glued this piece of paper to the back cover is this central rectangle of the book. And I did that with various pieces of double stick tape. So I find that a dry tape works better than a wet glue in these situations, because even with this teeny tiny little tip, which of course is properly closed, the wetness on thin paper like this is still kind of a lot, and you can get wrinkles. But when you use double-sided tape, and you can use the 3M stuff you get at the grocery store, whatever you've got, this dry tape makes a smoother writing surface, which I think is generally appreciated. So that's a super simple, and it's also pretty thin, so you could put it in a journal and it wouldn't bulk out the journal too terribly much. You could put it in a letter to a friend and it wouldn't bulk out the letter too much, which is a good thing. If you wanted to get a little more complicated, you could do a two-sided or a two-fold cover. So here's the map, and there's a right and left fold. The left has a little belly band on it, and I cut this side into something of a triangle to be able to tuck that into, there we are, tuck that in and have a nice closed little book. The insides of this book are made out of an 8.5 by 11 just piece of copy paper. And another one of the ideas I had for making, actually I use this pen, for using these books is you can do what's called a mind map. At least I think that's what they're called. So in the center, you would draw a circle, and this would be the situation, a problem I have, a place I want to go, dreams I want to make come true, healing I want to have, any health thing, any business thing, any family thing, whatever. So this is the situation, and these are either stuff that's contributing to where I am now, or stuff that could be contributing to where I would like to go. So maybe people I can get in touch with, books I can read, videos I can watch, classes I can take, long walks on the beach I could take to, open up and let the ideas flow. So again, on this book, it's kind of an interior rectangle that got the tape where I glued the cover to the piece of paper. So that goes like that. And then we tuck it in. And there you are. Now, a little bit more complicated is this book. It's very tiny. I wanted to experiment a little bit with having a fairly large piece of paper into a small space. And this also has right and left cover thing going on. And this is 1, 2, 3 horizontal folds, and there are 7 vertical folds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 8 rectangles by 4 rectangles. So there are 32 little spaces here. I think I told you, in the video with the giveaway book, that one year at Christmas, it was a solid paper. It wasn't made out of tissue paper like this, but I made a list of all the presents that my family had gotten and who they were from and who they were for, and had the thank you note been written. And every present got its own little box. It was a really great way to kind of keep a hold of every little piece, because kids were teenagers or almost teenagers, and it was just a little hard holding on to all that information in my head. So I made a list. You could also, plan a party or something like that in this way. This is where the food's coming from, this is where the decorations are coming from, this is who's doing the music, stuff like that. So that's another idea. And again, how does this go? This goes up and over. Now look what a nice, neat little container that is. And this book is actually closed by magnets. Ah, I love that little click sound. Little tiny pleasures for little tiny minds, right? This book is super, super simple, and it actually kind of nudges the boundaries of this envelope here. Theoretical envelope, not a physical envelope. So this is a piece of colored 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and inside is a piece of printed 8.5 by 11 paper. And ta-da! I glued them together with some washi tape that actually has a map on it, just to be silly. So this gives you 22 inches of space to journal, to make plans, to write about your life, whatever you like. And of course you could glue pictures in here or photographs, or if you gave a party, the party that you planned in this book, you could set this out on a table with lots of pens, and you could say, everybody write a little note to the hostess and tell her what you're thinking. So it could be a party thing. Yeah, anyway. So we're having fun. This is super simple. It's almost not a map book, because map books are supposed to be kind of hard to put back together, and that's not hard. So this book is made out of, I'm so sorry. Is made out of a paper bag. And the way that you can cut a paper bag so that you get this enormous amount of space, I measured it, it's 36 inches long and 16.5 inches. That's a lot of inches. A lot of acreage. So you see, this is the bottom of the bag, and what I'm doing is I'm just cutting a little sliver. I can't do it backwards. So off this this folded edge. So I'm going to cut a sliver off there and a sliver off of here. So that's the only amount of paper that I've lost from the book. And then I go inside and I'm going to cut down this fold. And I think you can see over here, the bottom of the bag is coming up like that. And I'm going to cut down this fold like that. So I once made out a book out of all these pages, and I did lots of matting. And yeah, you don't have to save this paper. And then you turn this on its back, and right here is the seam that goes up the back. And because this is glued together and it's kind of chunky, I cut to one side of the seam. Just be careful you're not cutting anything underneath. And then you can see the seam is almost an inch wide, so I'm going to cut that off too. Just so I don't get anything lumpy or bumpy in my end. Yes, you can save this if you want. I'm not going to. So then, sort of unfold right there. See where that's folded into a triangle? You can just unfold it. And this, watch those edges, this is my map book. There is a lot of bone foldering on this book. So this is a copy of what I did to get this. Yeah, so let's take these things off. So this cover is made out of 2 pieces of cardstock that I glued together. This is actually not attached. And then I used another little piece of, let me show you. I got my scoreboard and I took one of the extra pieces. The reason, I didn't say this, but the reason I made a sorry, let's finish our sentences. The reason this is made out of 2 pieces of cardstock glued together on both sides is because the bag itself is kind of heavy and chunky, and the paper's really stiff, actually. And so I wanted a somewhat stiff cover for it. I didn't want this to be, I mean, my cardstock is almost the same weight as the paper bag paper. Not really, but it's not so far different. And I wanted something just a little heavier. And then I wanted to give it 1/4 of an inch here because this book is a little heavy. And also you can see that on the parts of the pages that had printing from the grocery store, I didn't want to see that. So I decided I could mat things. So back to making a spine here. What I did was I took one of the cutoffs from the brown paper, and right in the middle somewhere, I made 1/4 of an inch spine. Now, if you wanted to make this book and you wanted to put tons of pockets and ephemera and juicy stuff in here, you might want to make even 1/2 an inch, 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, 5/8 of an inch spine, which is fine. It's just all up to you and how thick you would like to have this book. So by folding that, you get a nice, cute little spine. And as you can see, there we go. And what I did was, when I was gluing the black onto the brown, I just kind of tucked this inside, and that became a part of what I glued. And that's because I don't have any cardstock that's this long. So it was a way for me to sort of cut and paste in an artistic way to make a nice cover. So yes, so as you've seen, these are some of my plans for matting this book. And we open, there's something else that needs to be covered there. And I'm hoping you can see this has some of this double stick tape on it. I haven't peeled the sticky off because I wanted to show you. These are all just various papers I have made. Oh, this is fun. When I glued this over, taped it over, to cover some writing that was right here. I actually taped it just along the edges so that this could be a secret pocket. This card is actually too long for the job, but you get the idea. And just right here, I have one of these stacked medallions, red paper, black paper, yellow paper. First I cut the yellow one. If you wander around, you can find, yes, you can find where I teach you how to make that. I'm losing my way here. Okay, so here we go. And then we open up the book. There is also writing here, so I matted that and writing here. And because this gets opened at the same time, I used both ends of a piece of copied paper cut to cover that. Then the cool thing is, when you get to the inside, they don't print on the inside, so this is all free. There's nothing covering this up until you start gluing things down. Yeah, so here are some ideas. Ta-da! All right, let's move these guys and fold this back up. So I just wanted to share some wicked cool ideas for you. So this cover fits just barely. This cover fits perfectly. On these last three covers, there's a little bit of the cover's just a tiny bit bigger around the edges, and that's true with all of these. Not very much bigger, but a tiny bit. Listen for the click. Tiny pleasures, as we said. Yes, so just an eensy beensy bit. So you can make your covers a little bigger, a little smaller. You can add decorations wherever you like. These actually have not quite been trained to stay closed. See how it bunches open? So I could put this under a book or something. These two have little clasps to keep them closed. I might choose at the end of this to put some sort of a, I don't know, like a thing with a magnet right there. So I could do that. Here, wait. Let's put her right there. Ta-da! Hello. So, yeah, this is just to show you all the fun, or not even all the fun, just some small portion of the fun that can be had when one plays with maps. Ukraine. So I wish you I wish you a clear mind and happy travels on your journey to making map books. And these little blessings get blown all over the world on their journey to you, so that, yeah, if there's a little energy towards happiness in your travels that you need, it is my intent that the universe should give that to you. So I will see you next time, and thanks for hanging out. And yeah, these are really fun to make. See how many different sizes you could make, or or shapes, or yes, the possibilities are endless. All right, see you next time. Bye.